So it has been a minute since I've posted on my channel, and I thought I'd go ahead and do that. So, I'm going to make it about my Lego cars. You can see I've got a lot. Another one in there. A little setup in there. Got all these down here and one lonely NASCAR. Black Lego car. No, well, you know that. These are Hot Wheels cars. And an Eagle. So this here will be a separate video, and this will also be a separate video. That is a work in progress, and so is that Lamborghini right there. So I'm going to show you some of the ones that I've modded and worked on already. So these are some of the few that I have modified and stuff. This is a Hellcat. That is a McLaren. That is a Mustang Dark Horse. That is a Super Mark V. And this is, I think, a 1992 Dodge Charger. So I think I'm going to start with the Supra. So this guy here was one of the first that I started to work on. And yeah, he turned out pretty good, I think. No, it took me a lot longer than I thought it would to complete, just due to the fact that I was missing one of these pieces. That was very annoying. That was the hardest part to find. That was it. But other than that, yeah, this car looks pretty good. So from the rear, we've got a performance looking thingy there, and of course a cool muffler, because why not? And on taking off the wing, we got a neat little connection thing here, because it takes a little finger in place, a bracket, and one of these pieces, which is not common at all actually for putting these things on. But it's cool, it works out well, and it keeps everything compact, and I like it. On top here, there's a little sunroof in there. I don't collect figs, or else I would have them in the cars, but, you know, whatever. Little aerodynamic pieces there for fun. Upon opening up the rear end, you can see I've done some little design work in here just to make it look cool and stuff. And another thing I've done is something I like to call black top, where all of this up here was yellow. I made it black, so the top of it's black and stuff. You know, I added wide mirrors, which is not common at all for any muscle car ever. And I added some neat little, those are called, what are they called? Not fenders. Skirts, that's it, they're called skirts. And then I continued them to the back here, adding some aerodynamic there. Flip it to this side, looks better. You can see it better. Really, it's all for aerodynamic, but it just looks good. This is also aerodynamic. And a humongous front lip, because, you know, front lips are cool. So that would be the Supra. So let's move on to the next car. I think next I want to talk about my Dark Horse, Ford Dark Horse. This thing looks pretty good. I've done no skirt work, thank God. I don't have to mess my words up on that anymore. I have, however, put on some nice rims that are from Paul Walker's car over there. Rest in peace. Look pretty good. Put a huge engine in here, and the way that I had to do that was I literally had to take the whole front end apart and redesign the thing that keeps this in, actually. And then I had to attach this to it and figure out a way to keep everything smooth on the front, and then put the front back on. So yeah, that was an interesting task. And I've also done front lip work, because every car needs a front lip. Moving to the rear, we have some big exhaust pipes. Continuation of the skirts, I guess. I don't know what to call that back here. And again, more performance on the back bumper just for cool looks. Just thought I'd show you the back of this thing because it looks pretty cool from under. At least I like it anyway. I think next I'll do the Hellcat. So this one, the building of the basic car, was pretty fun. Took a lot of neat uses, I guess. Like this, the rear window here is a crap load of plates. All these curves, it was really interesting putting this thing together, I'll tell you what. But let's get to what I added. The first design that LEGO had made for this front lip I thought was boring, so I went ahead and redid it, and I think it looks much cleaner and much smoother. Those rims came from a different LEGO car. I can't remember which one. Okay, my mom needed me twice. Sorry for that. I can't remember where the rims on this car came from, but they're cool. And then the wing, which is really big, I enjoyed a lot. Super simple to make. It came from the pieces of the car. Some of them didn't, some of them did. And then we got the mufflers down here, which are nice and big and whatnot, and look pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So next, I want to do the charger. So this one here was complicated, but actually kind of easy. It is very dusty, jeez. So I just recorded a whole segment without recording, and that's fine. I'll do it again. I'm not sure where I was, but we're just going to start back from. I took the front end off, and then I split it in half the rest of the way and took the rear end apart. And I switched out the engine here. From here, it was originally here, and I put it here. And then on the body that came off were these two little, you can hardly see them, and they're, my thing is not focusing right now. There they are. Those two pieces around, those circular pieces, were on the part of the body that I took off. So I had to make this on the car body, and then I had to fit these around here, also on the car body. And then I did the interior from the chassis down here. Everything you see under the roll bar and in the car is attached to this big platform in there. And then what I had to do for the rear end is I pretty much took everything under these wheel connecty pieces out, and I put all this back together back here, and the lights and stuff. I put a bunch of plates in there to raise this high enough to fit in these Technic pieces in here to put on these mufflers. Now, a lot of people think that these are drag bars. They are not drag bars, they are mufflers. Believe it or not, it's supposed to be a wasteland type of car. And then, of course, I did final detailing, you know, little car cage bars, and take the roof apart, and this little piece. I found this sticker on an old Lego set that I had. And then I took out, there were originally 4 of these pieces that I had to take. I took 2 of them out of the back. And I do a bunch of work above this to get the big wheel to fit in here. It's a big wheel. But yeah, this was surprisingly easy. So yeah, let's move on to the last car, the McLaren. Okay, technical difficulties. These are too high. While I had this thing dissected, here's a look at the front lip of this thing. Yeah. Okay, sorry, the car fell apart on me. As I was saying, yeah, you saw the front lip of this. It's pretty cool. It's got some, no tread wheel, I don't know what to call it, and slicks, I guess, on it. Got a badass wing. You know, it's cool stuff. Little pieces here and there. Give it some detail. This wasn't too hard to make. Now, what I mean by it isn't done is there's still, you know, parts of where I've been designing and stuff. There's the wing. You know, I'm also going to put a muffler on it. Because without a muffler, it can't do much. But yeah, so there's all of the cars I have been working on and stuff. So, thanks for watching.